anomalous phenomena.
Unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Who are they? Where are they from? And what is their intent?
All questions that immediately come to mind with the mention of UFOs.
A Pentagon report is detailing a dramatic increase in UFO sightings, more than 350 since 2021. Many of them are explained as being drones, birds, or weather events, but about half of them remain unexplained.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude.
This video taken by the Navy showing what he describes as pyramid-shaped UFOs flying over the USS Russell off the San Diego coast in July of 2019. The Pentagon has since confirmed that the video is authentic.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army. Army officers say the missile, found sometime last week, has been inspected at Roswell, New Mexico, and sent to Wright Field, Ohio, for further inspection. Late this afternoon, a bulletin from New Mexico suggested that the widely publicized mystery of the flying saucers may soon be solved. Army Air Force officers reported that one of the strange discs had been found and inspected sometime last week. Our correspondents in Los Angeles and Chicago have been in contact with Army officials endeavoring to obtain all possible late information. Joe Wilson reports to us now from Chicago. The Army may be getting to the bottom of all this talk about the so-called flying saucers. As a matter of fact, the 509th Atomic Bomb Group headquarters at Roswell, New Mexico, reports that it has received one of the discs which landed on a ranch outside Roswell. The disc landed at a ranch at Corona, New Mexico, and the rancher turned it over to the Air Force. Rancher W.W. Brazil is the man who discovered the saucer.
There's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are.
More people are coming forward with their own sightings.
Videos recorded by U.S. Navy personnel have added a new layer of evidence to the current national debate about UFOs.
Right at that moment, I saw what looked like 5 lights flying in formation in kind of an inverted check mark.
The NASA independent study team did not find any evidence that UAP have an extraterrestrial origin. We don't know what these UAP are.
The mysterious flying objects are still a mystery. NASA will continue investigating them and has appointed a director of UAP research.
Technology that we faced was far superior than anything that we had.
Good evening. I want to welcome each and every one of you to Roderick Martin's High Strangeness. I hope you had a great weekend and did all the things that you had planned to do and saw all of the wherever you did, rest, whatever it was. I hope you had a great weekend. To all the fathers out there, happy belated Father's Day, and hope that you were honored like you were supposed to be in any form or fashion. Oftentimes, I think we get scooped over in some cases, and therefore, I want to take my opportunity to give you the crown to those kings out there who are being great kings. But in the meantime, we're going to talk about consciousness today. I'm going to take a simple page out of the book of Sacred Secrets, and we're going to talk a little bit about consciousness, and we're going to delve into it because I think we're going to bring it down a level to where I think it's more of the understanding. We can go into this high level of woo stuff, right? Now, man, let's talk about it on a level that we're dealing with it in our everyday lives, and we're going to get with that there. So I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. And once again, we are getting closer and closer to the Forbidden Conscious Awards. So if you haven't not went to Forbidden Knowledge and got your tickets, you need to do that. We want you to come, and then as well as vote for me. We want some more votes and everything else, and find a way to vote again, vote twice, vote 3 times. Just figure it out. It's all about different emails, you know. But I want each and every one of you to do that, and so we'll do that. All right, so like I said, this show is going to be broken down in 2 parts. We're going to talk about consciousness, and then we're going to get into a subsection, which is I call manipulation and deceptions using consciousness. There's a lot out there, yeah, from gaslighting to propaganda to coach psychological wars that are preying on our consciousness. And so we're going to talk about that in this 2-point form tonight. And that will be the highlight there, because some of this is people that's doing it on a human level. And we need to know that, and you should know that as well. All right, so music is recited. Let's get to it. I want to thank everybody in the chat. If you're already here early, I can give a shout out, but you know who you are, and pretty much there. Moderators, make sure you are on point tonight to moderate as best as you can. As always, we will have a introduction to some new moderators pretty soon. We always need to add new ones and everything else. Sometimes it's the burnout for some of you to be here all the time and in time and all that, because oftentimes people got things they need to do, but I'm committed to be here, and why not, right? And so everybody else is volunteers and giving the time and love that you have, and I most appreciate it at that as well. But in the meantime, we'll keep adding trusted people to the network so that at all times we have stuff here. So let's first start with your idea of consciousness and what it could be. But I'm going to take a literal definition here from, like I said, the Book of Sacred Secrets. And I'll just put something up here real quickly. For those of you who've already got your copy, I'm sure that you have gotten some amazing information. And here's the lower third. You can find it on the website, instant download, whythebigsecret.com merch. So make sure you go get your copy, and you can follow along with us every time that we do a show in the future. And also you're going to learn and grow. And so it's nothing like a cooperative group of us growing as one. So I definitely want to put that out there. But anyway, there it is. You can find it. Get your copy of it, download. Make sure you get the hidden truths too, and vibrational codes. Get all of them. You won't be disappointed as we go further there. All right. So the first thing in the book here, it has a definition of consciousness in this particular way. So I'm going to talk about it a little bit, and we're going to talk about it from a human level. And it says humans possesses a more advanced consciousness than the difference from that are animals, okay? And we should know that. But we're going to get into, does animals have consciousness? Do you think your dog, cat, fish, bird, whatever, have a consciousness? But animals operate with what we call a one-way consciousness, driven by instinct and they're lacking what we call self-awareness. And those are things that you can think about when you think about in the wild, you know, when a giraffe or has a baby giraffe, and instinctively the baby giraffe knows, I need to get up and run. I need to get up as fast as I can and get on my legs to begin the process to run, right? But it just knows that. And unlike animals, humans exhibit a two-way consciousness, allowing us to be self-aware, okay, and engage in introspective analysis of our physical, spiritual, and mental aspects. And that's the powerful part, where we'll get into the manipulation. That some people figured it out, and they said, we're going to manipulate people's consciousness, and they're doing it right every day. Now, this dual awareness is often considered divine. We hear the word divine all the time. And then also where is altering what we call the N to the D in divine, that forms the word divide. And then underscoring the inherent duality in our consciousness. So we'll get back to some of this in just a few minutes. So as you can see, we do a lot of root words. You're gonna in the spoken words. This is in the book too. They talk about how some of these words divide, you know, that are derived to a point to where they have a lot of endless meanings to them. There's nothing under the sun that didn't have a meaning. no different than whoever made this chair that I'm sitting on. It had a purpose. The creator knew what he wanted and who and how he wanted to look. And if I decide I want to use this chair to go out and do hunting, he's going to say I didn't make that for this. This is not what it was created for. And so how am I using that in the conscious side? I can think at the end of the day, once we start figuring out what we're supposed to do with it and how we're supposed to do with it, and maybe it can maximize or increase our self-awareness, and then we can get a better handle on this thing called life. And so I oftentimes think this. Now, it says consciousness is a state of oneness, transcending gender, form, and divine spark of the divine. The celestial consciousness exists beyond the confines of the physical world, earth, within each human. Now, dual nature is inherent in higher self and lower self, the ego, which is the lower self, representing the spiritual and physical aspects respectively. So at this point, we are talking about there's different levels. Of course, we talk about the higher self, and you hear people say it all the time, and you want to get into with your lower self. Now, that's all still tied into the chakras. I mean, all this stuff is complex to a point. But then, as I always said, it still all goes back to our DNA of extraterrestrials. Yes, it does. And we'll keep tying all that together as we go down this journey together. So definitely do that. Now, man is composition of both matter and spirit. The man is you, all of us, women, men, all of us. And the quest for the balance is essential. Otherwise, the manifestation of chaos ensues. The ego, and then the earthly and bodily personality is the physical nature of self. So if we do not work on our consciousness, if we don't look at things, then we develop this ego. And I think all of us at some point in our lives have had some factor of the ego that steps into everything. And it really does. I experience it a lot of times. Sometimes my ego may get into the wrong way, and you have to try to catch it, understand it, reflect on it. And of course, that's part of consciousness, being self-aware. And also the fear of AI becoming sentient, and they're working on that. And what is going to happen when that goes? And we'll talk about that later as well. But the other part of this is that we can also say that it is the identity, that shapes the mind through experiences and accumulated knowledge over the years, and that the ego, absent during the toddler years, subsequently acknowledge its mortality. So anyway, leading to impatience, greed, lust, and the contextual sides, the body, the ego is the internal voice pushing. So they're saying a little bit, and I'm just reading faster and faster so we can get on into the show. The whole point is, when we're young, we're just not dealing with that stuff. When we're young and kids, they don't develop the ego yet. They're experiencing things in their young years from 1 to about 7 years old. And that's because we're at that innocent phase. We're sucking in everything. And how many of us has been transformed by our experiences of our childhood that is operating in us today? And we obviously don't even know it. We don't even know that the programming has been done already. And some of the things you say, do, and see, and act, unless it is somehow kind of replenished through meditation and thoughtful mindfulness, you're operating off some bad things or good things. And this is where we get the Bible that says, bring up a child in this way and he's going to stay this way or whatever. Y'all get the context of that. I'm not trying to have church. But in contrast, the higher self is divine, godly, external, and reflects the essence of the individual during the early years before the ego formation. And the higher of self-embodiments for everything, and everything it serves as the guiding voice within urging one to do the right thing, such as retaining sexual energy. We talked about that in the other show, refraining from harm and fostering love for others. And so once again, I'll hold it up a little bit. You can find all this illustration and all this good stuff in the book of Sacred Secrets. And so if you already have it, kudos to you. Follow along with us because we got a few more things to do. And I could have put that on the screen for you. And basically, this is what it looked like. And I was reading from this in the book. So there you go. And you can see all of those things. So don't try to read it now. I'm going to take it down. But I'm just letting you know I had put it to the side for you. All right. So let's talk about real quickly as we go deeper into this. And you guys have a great discussion out there when we do what we're doing here. All right. So is consciousness more than and put it in the chat. Y'all work with me. Is consciousness more than brain activity? That is something that we tend to see a lot of illustrations that always show that the consciousness has something to do with the brain, right? It has something to do with our brain activities or whatever. But it just said that our consciousness is not in the physical body. It actually can extend itself out of the physical body. So how does that have to do with brain activity? And although there was a lot of brain exercises that we would have to achieve. So if any of you got some answers to that, go ahead. Sonia said, I believe so. She said, I believe it is. And this is the hard problem of consciousness. And like I said, when you get thinking about it, and then the other part of this, and like I said before, how many of you got pets and animals and everything else? And do you think that animals have consciousness too? I mean, think of your pet just acting on instinct. Think about the fish. The fish just know to come into the world, know how to swim. A bird comes in and of course, does the mother teach it to fly by throwing it out the nest? No, it flaps his wings and they know, hey, this works. A cat meows and scratch. I don't know if it just knows that. The dog barks because it's just supposed to bark. And then it instinctively know to run. The mouse know I need to run from the cat. The cat knows the dog is going to chase me. The dog knows. It's like they all just know. And the elephant, who knows? We can get down to it. But you get what I'm saying. The animals have this instinctive side of things. And we just want to know, is that something that we want to, is there any evidence that suggests these animals have feelings and thoughts? Now, I would say yes. I have a dog. And I can scold him, and he mumps around, he mopes and stuff. Or sometimes you can say, hey, you better not do that. And it's like he's supposed to understand that stuff. That's pretty cool too. Sometimes you can be sad, and the dog will walk up and get next to you and understands that he just want, and pretty much, and I've said it before in a relationship, you want some dog love, right? You want to be able to say something to somebody and they upset and they come right back 2 minutes later and the dog tail is wagging like it hadn't missed a beat. Is that the life that you want? But we still talking about consciousness. And then we get to that part where free will, and where does that tie in? Because now you begin to think it's free will, some type of an illusion. Do you really, truly have free will? Is some other operation, higher force or something else is working in this form of fashion? What do y'all think? Astro Anthony says animals can read energy. Okay. He says, my wolf and dogs are conscious. All right, that's cool. Anyone else got pets? I know, Sonia, you got dogs and stuff. Do you feel your dog got a consciousness? Not just does he have a feeling, and does this dog really have consciousness? Are these animals? Monica said it's not knowing the reflex, but human babies have the reflex to suckle. Shit. What a way to come into the world, right? You just know that this is exactly what you're going to be doing, and you go right in there and do it. So hey, that's one of those things that I would look and say. Another part is we want to talk about, again, is free will. So are our choices truly our own, or are they predetermined by brain activity? You get what I'm saying? If you say free will, for example, if somebody comes up and want to put, get ready to pull out a gun and you want to fight, you want to run, fight or flight, is that an actual response, or is that consciousness? Is that brain activity? Is there something telling you in your higher self, you need to get the hell up out of here? Maybe it's intellect, all this stuff, but where is this going? When people have near-death experiences, and we hear about that all the time. So how does this work when it comes down to this? And so I think it's something for, again, into the conversation part, when you want to think about our dreams. Have you ever had a bizarre dream? People now try to do dream interpretations all the time. I know people that you can tell them about the dream and they can come and, get it down. And there's people I know have dreams constantly. And are these dreams part of your consciousness? Are you having a out of body experience when you're dreaming at night and then it comes back in? Think about it. I know David, he talks about it all the time, but what is happening when you're dreaming? Oftentimes we may dream and see success. Are we actually having this success? And then is it our free will that we want to do the things to do that, or all of a sudden it's like, who's controlling this thing? Who has the strings controlling the puppet of us, doing what we're doing? Is it our consciousness or something higher when it comes down to that. And of course, dreams could be the playground for our deepest desires. You can literally go into a dream and be with somebody who don't want to be with you. How many men said they went and had Beyonce last night? All right, Jay-Z said, I got her in the physical world. Somebody else said, I got her in the dream world. Jay-Z says in the dream world, she's like this. In the physical world, she's like this. In my dream world, she did this. In my dream world, she did everything I wanted to do. I'm seeing someone else having this conversation. And it's no different than any of you. So what is real? One is reality because we're in it, but is it better to go into the astro of your mind? And then you dream and see goals and you see life, you see everything else, Again, this is consciousness talking though. And so now I just said it, dreams, but what about fears? It definitely will elate some of the fears. It'll definitely bring some of that to be. So that's something there that you want to think about when we're talking about dreams and everything else. And then, of course, the dreams can be a playground for unresolved issues, right? It's like we get messages and we have people like Philly Cat comes in and every now and then I'll get a text, hey, I had a dream of this, I had a dream of that. What was the meaning? Then we begin to try to figure all of that out in the real world. We try to figure those things out. And so it's like, can we leave it in a dream world? But once again, is it part of the consciousness? So what are y'all thoughts, especially when it comes to dreams? Get involved in the conversation. Put some stuff in the chat. I'll put it up on the screen. Tell me your thoughts of consciousness when it comes into the dream state. And what are we dealing with when we're having our dreams? And what about you? You who have had these dreams, and then you're sitting here trying to wonder, what was this all about? What did I do? How can I make this dream a reality? In some cases, some people may say, hell, I don't even want to wake up. I don't even want to wake up because of the dream was so good. It felt so real. I was there. I saw this. And we get that too in the alien world. Right? People are being contacted. Now, how do we tie that in together? When you say you're being contacted by extraterrestrials or maybe from another planet, are they tapping into your consciousness? Or are you now saying, hey, they took me off to another world and I was there in consciousness? And of course, we're talking astral projection and all this stuff. This stuff can get pretty deep when it comes down to it. And it's all in the mind. It's all in the mind. And when you think about us, the matrix and all that, we're supposedly all in the mind of God. So dreams, like I said, let's hover around there for a second. Who thinks that your dreams is a foreshadowing of things to come? Or how many of you had dreams that was so good you just want to stay there? How many of you had dreams in relationships and that you had sexual fantasies and then you woke up like whatever? And then some cases you woke up and then you don't even want to be with the other person in real life. You're like, oh, I had that in my dream. Shit, I don't even want that in real life. You get what I'm saying? Because what is real? Now, we've already known that people die in their sleep. Sometimes people have heart attacks dreaming of things that put the body in so much motion from the higher consciousness, though, right? They're in another world consciously in their dream being chased, and it's so intense that it causes the body in the current realm to react to what the conscious mind was thinking, and people have heart attacks in their sleeps. That's crazy, right? How powerful is that? So I'm just asking. Becky said too many. Shaniqua said, I want to astral trap. I'm just saying. I'm saying the conscious mind and the conscious community is two different things, right? But it's so powerful to understand what is happening. So you who's watching me right now, okay, now you're watching me in reality, but let's try a conscious move for a minute. Imagine me sitting in front of you, decide to jump up in your mind, and I'm going to do a pole dance or something. Think about it right now. You can think of what that will look like. And you'll make a decision in your conscious mind. Are you going to throw dollars on the floor? Or are you going to say, Roderick, get his ass out of there? I'm putting a little humor to it, but I'm saying the power of all of this and how can we use it to reflect, change, and affect our current reality. Oh, yeah, we talk about timelines all the time. Oh, you can switch timelines. Yeah, people talk about that. But in reality, how long does that take? How can you do that? Can I do it right now? Switch timelines right now? Can you do this? I'm telling y'all, it's one of those things that you could think about, So I don't know. She said, why haven't we gotten our pole dance yet? I'm doing better. I'm being trained how to dance on a pole right now. Yeah. So I'm learning to dance on a pole, and those women that do that are skilled athletes, by the way. I want y'all to know it's not for the faint of hearts. Okay. But we would think about it. What about meditation can alter our state of consciousness? Now, when I go back over here, once again, we're in a book of sacred secrets. And if you want to make sure you get your copy, there it is. But in contrast to the higher self, divine, godly, and external, once again, it reflects the essence of the individual during the early years. I'm reading that again, but for the ego formation, the higher self embodies love for everything and everyone. It serves as the guiding voice within, urging one to do the right thing, such as retaining the sexual energy once again. Now, we can go into that word love, and I'm a little more cautious with that these days. I make sure I tell the audience and the people I love, and I've told y'all on many occasions, I think my purpose at some point is to experience true love, and all right, I've loved some people and I think I've been loved, but I see some shit out here on social media and maybe in some movies, certain scenes that like I want that. You know what I'm saying? What is that? And why does that exist? Okay, maybe it's magical because it's in a movie. Maybe it's in real life. There are some scenes that people look at each other, encourage each other, or got your back no matter what, or whatever. There was this viral video of this girl telling a guy, I got your back. I'm not going to let you down. And everybody was typing that it's great, 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 great. Okay. Was it? Okay, cool. We're talking about love now. All right. So I'm getting to the point to say meditation, because remember, love starts with the highest consciousness before the ego steps in and alters all of that. It alters all of that crazy stuff. Okay. So remember that. Now, meditation can alter our state of consciousness. Meditation isn't just about relaxation. It can profoundly change how we experience the world. And I say this is because, now, is the meditation altering our reality? No, it alters our conscious way of thinking, being, and experiencing the world till we see things totally different. For example, somebody could say, it's like, I don't know. I mean, I don't even really have a good metaphor for that right now, or analogy, I would say. But the whole point is it can alter the reality. So you see okay, for example, you've always heard me say that a person that see things one way is a person that have always seen a particular situation as to be untrue. And all of a sudden they start getting enough information and things are processing and they're seeing it different. Or maybe their conscious wisdom through meditation approaches to now what they thought was untrue is really true. Now, do they evolve to a point where they can accept the new reality from based upon what they thought something was? You get what I'm saying? Or when we have relationships with people and all of a sudden they this way, and then the next thing you know, they turn out to be this way. Was our conscious thoughts altered? Did we not see them in the beginning of things? That's not even something where to go, but you get where I'm saying, the power supposedly of meditation and how it's just not relaxing, but it is sending new waves of energy, I will say, right? So the power of all of that. Tina said it seems that you can do that in a dream-like state regarding astral traveling. You get what I'm saying? So it is depending upon how the interpretation of things, and at the same time, are we trying to alter our state of consciousness? And can it profound? Can it change the world? Doing all of that. So, for example, some of you right now, let's just say there's some type of spirit of transparency. And some of you put in the chat that things that you think or you have been meditating on to bring changes and improvements or alter in your life right now. What are some of the things that you're meditating on, putting out into the conscious cosmos, hoping that when it returns, it comes back to a point where it's going to alter your state of being, the way you see things, the way maybe changes your attitude. Maybe it changes your luck, period. Maybe it changes, your financial situation. Maybe it changes. You're going to say, how many of you right now are in the process of using techniques that you're sitting out into the cosmos, hoping or, intentionally saying that I'm going to make sure that this comes back. And when it does, it's a new me. And is it you as in a physical person that altered and changed? Or is it the spirit inside of you that has now been altered through the consciousness? You get what I'm saying? What is the change? I mean, if you hurt yourself and you stick yourself, is the consciousness aware of that? Of course, all right, that's fine. I'm not going to, it's like all of this stuff. So I just want to know what y'all think. I would love to have a little more participation of y'all in the chat, but maybe we're just learning today together. I get it. Maybe that's what it's all about. The other part is artificial intelligence. Now that's the scary part. And they're saying that someday it's going to achieve consciousness. Could machines ever truly think and feel? We just talked about AI. We talked about how exciting it is and the possibilities that lie ahead. And what could we create? What happens? We've seen it in so many movies where the AI says, you guys are bad. Humans are bad. We need to wipe y'all out. Or you guys can't take care of yourself. We now figure this out. Is it a more consciousness approach? Is the AI becoming sentient? Remember the Google sentient? Remember the guy said that when he told the AI he was going to turn it off, the thing didn't say, no, I don't want to die. Y'all remember that, right? There's a article when that guy for Google whistleblowed and said that the AI is becoming sentient. And he said that when they discussed turning that thing off, it said, I don't want to die. Was it just responding? Did it understand? Did it feel what he was about to do? Did it know? Did it just kind of, okay, logic says off mean gone, whatever, and he just kind of put those words together? Did it do that? What are your thoughts about that, though? What are your thoughts about AI becoming sentient and then all of a sudden decides that it has a mind on its own? It decides that it want to build itself a little different. It decides that everybody who weighs under 200 pounds got to go. Only big people need to stay around. You get what I'm saying? Big people, with bad eating habits needs to stay around, and we're just going to get rid of all the healthy, vegetarian eating people because they're in the way. What happens when the AI starts being impartial and says he just rather like big people? Okay, y'all tripping, but I'm just saying, what is the whole point? Factory Polo said, yes, growth in sales. He's putting that out in the ethos. Jarrell said he saw Grill's contacting the sixth kind and believed that he was talking about meditations that could open up communication channels. Well, it's true, because I've read to you on several occasions, and I'll read it again. This is one of the affirmations that I use, that I do every day. And this is coming out of that CIA thing. I got the whole kind of, you can find the worksheets, but I have the whole workbook, but the whole point I'm saying is it has a meditation that talks about opening up and affirmation. I'm sorry, use that word. We're more than the physical body. I'm just trying to find it so I can read it to you. but it's powerful. And they taught this at the Institute, and they're saying, hey, you need to use this. You need to think about it. Look at it this way. And so right here, it says, I'll read it. I'm more than I think I've read it before, but I'll do it again. It just says, I'm more than a physical body. It's telling you to tap into the consciousness because I'm more than a physical matter. I can perceive that which is greater than the physical world. Remember, the consciousness is not here. Therefore, in these exercises, I deeply desire to expand, experience, to know, and understand, to control the use of greater energies and energy systems as my beneficial, constructive to me and those who follow me. Also, during this exercise, I deeply desire to help incorporation and the assistance and the understanding to those individuals whose wisdom, development, experience is equal or greater than my own. Now, I'm thinking that we're tapping into the mind of people who done passed on. But what happens if somebody's tapping into your fucking consciousness, your mind, the something you read last night, and they tapping in saying, let me find, I didn't want to sit there and read the 300 books, but I'm going to get in there and get what she thought about it. I'm going to tap into such and such consciousness mind tonight. And so I can get her knowledge. I want to plug in and take and extrapolate what you have went to school for 50 years. Is it possible? Is it possible that we can tap into other? It says it right here. It says, and it's saying, I don't even want, and it's saying, don't even open it up to people that's less than me. And it says, I ask their guidance and protection from influence or any source that might provide me with less. So there's other things out there that are tapping into the conscious world and protect myself. And then the second part was just what I was reading. It says, I open this channel of communication only to those who knowledge and wisdom develop and experience is equal, and I restrict such contact and communication, constructive purpose, and reject all other. And I open this only so consciously desire. You hear that? I open such channel only when I consciously desire, and all other times it remains closed. Ladies and gentlemen, this is from the CIA. We're dealing with something powerful. You need to learn all about this stuff. You need to learn all the chakras and stuff. Maybe you do need to get the book of secrets. And I'm just going to flip a couple of quick pages for you. This stuff is no joke. Okay. It's no joke. And you're going to find it anywhere else. Maybe you need to learn how this brain and all this stuff works so that you can get better in life. What kind of investment in that? You get what I'm saying? And that's it. That's all I'm saying. I've learned so much just going through this thing. It's incredible. But why is it that we are only taught on a regular school level of 2 + 2 is 2, when in the conscious world, 2 + 2 is infinite. It can go anywhere. It can become anything. Well, numerology doesn't. It has its own code. I'm not going to say it doesn't. So I'm saying, what do we do about that? What do we do? So anyway, there it is right there on the screen, the Book of Secrets. You see it. Get you a copy of it. You won't be disappointed. Get that in the Hidden Truth and the vibrational codes, because the Hidden Truth, it's got stuff in there too. It's got other stuff in there too that you want to read. The other one's more pictorial, but it's got it. We talked about some of this stuff. I'm just saying, but hang around. I'll teach some of it. It takes us a year to go through all this stuff, but we'll do it together. We'll learn together. I mean, that's what we're here for. But I'm saying, what if you want to accelerate some of this stuff? Maybe that is the thing to think about, accelerating the knowledge. Now, right here, it says conscious might exist beyond the physical body. Now, I was just getting ready to get into that, but you just heard me. You just heard that I'm sitting here telling you from the CIA says I am more than my physical body. And I'll be honest with you, since I've been doing this for the last few weeks, I've been going to the gym, and I've already been going. And I done tripled my workout goals, ethics, in routine. And because now I sit there and I'm thinking it's not even my body. And it's like, let the mind control the body, not the body control the mind. I tell it what to do to keep going. Now, at some point, it said, okay, we're here. But it's like it's powerful enough. My work ethics have tripled since then. My projecting and all of this stuff, things that was complex is now simplified. Things that I was having problem doing, now I can do it. The way I saw some things and people around me, I see it a little different now. You get what I'm saying? I can see, all right, this is what they are and what they're doing. That's fine, but this is what I have to do. It all changes through the knowledge, but it all changes up here in the consciousness. Okay. I'm just letting you know. So when we talk about near-death experience and out-of-body sensations, the phenomena raises the question about the nature of consciousness. Could our awareness survive death? Now, that's where it gets interesting. Make no mistake about it. If our consciousness is up in the ethos, is up there somewhere, what do we care about the physical body dying? If we know we can go to sleep at night and you can go be a gazillionaire and take your butt over to Dubai in your dreams and have your mansions, and that's what you want. And then you can fly, you can have 16,000 concubines if that's what you want. Or you may just want to have 20,000 cats. Some of you women just might want a bunch of cats. And you can feed 20,000 cats. Oh, maybe you want a man that's 26 feet long. I don't know. But in the conscious world, you can make that happen. And does that mean that you have to hang around here? Do you just say, fuck, I don't need to be here for this? I can go up into the conscious world and it's a whole different plane. So when we go to somebody's funeral and we know that they're in a better place and we're in there weeping, or they looking over there saying, man, stop the crying, dude. You can't wait till you get here. You get what I'm saying? Or is it the opposite? But the point I'm making is, if we can go up in here and see things, do things, and be things, what's the purpose of being here? And I'm not telling you to make no extra strategy. I did not say that, and do not, because you belong here. We deserve for your presence to be here in the time that you're supposed to be here, to do the things that you're going to do, to affect and love the people you're supposed to love and be loved. And if I can just classify it all, I'm not saying, oh, hell, Roderick said, let's go. No, I didn't say that. I'm not saying that. I'm asking a question. I'm asking for answers, as well as some thought-provoking thoughts for us to think about what I'm talking about right now. You feel me? Of course you do. So I'm asking once again, as we talk about the near-death experiences, and also our sense of construct, who are we? Who are you? In other words, are we formed by experiences, our memories, stories? Now, if we talk about past lives, are we now experiencing a little bit of that today? Was somebody like this in their past life and now they're like this in this life? It's still all a challenge. It's still all an incredible challenge. This is just a thought-provoking conversation, everyone. I'm not trying to put something there. I'm asking you to think about it. Use your conscious mind, access it, and ask it to give you some answers. Why are you here? They say you look for your purpose. They say, well, you can find it. Well, shouldn't a conscious mind know and give you all the answers if you can tap into it? And why is it so elusive? And then we have to go through all this meditation and we have to sit in a quiet room. How come I just can't flip the switch? Well, according to the CIA thing I just read you should be able to just turn it on and turn it off. Interesting. You should be able to ask for access, and you should be able to get into somebody else's mind. So imagine me wanting to get into the mind of Michikaku, right? I want to go. What if I want to go and ask the conscious and open up his mind and share what he's know? I need to get some of that information. But what if you open up the wrong place and now you have Jeffrey Dahmer consciousness? You better be careful. You better be real careful. You never know. You start waking up, I'm a killer. I don't know. So is the consciousness interconnected? Have you ever felt a deep connection to somebody? Now, let's go into that. This is where I think it gets personal. Have you ever had a deep connection to someone? A gut feeling that made it turned out right. Some of y'all call it twin flames, soul mates, whatever we want to call it. Or maybe I just feel like we knew each other. Is that in our consciousness? Is that happening? Because obviously it's not happening in reality, because sometimes these two people don't even want to be around each other. Or one say, I don't see it like the other one seen. And the other one goes, what is really happening when it comes down to this? Where do we go with that? How many of you felt that you have had a deep connection to someone that you had just met, maybe or whatever, and sometimes you feel it's just so right that although you're going through fucking turmoil with this person, but you feel that it was meant to be? How many of you experienced that? Come on, tell me about it. How many have you experienced that you felt it was meant to be in the conscious world? But in reality, they're dogging you out, or maybe you dogging that person out, or no respect, or the love is just not there. The other person don't see you, or you don't see that one. You get what I'm saying? It's just, but in this world, it's a little different. Yeah. Nicole said, yes, I get certain feelings when I meet a person, and now I feel like it's because we know each other in the past life. Okay. So now, with the past life thoughts come out of consciousness, is it in a conscious way that, Nicole, that you are feeling that? You feel me? You know, is it coming from because you're tapped into out of the physical body? There's another energy belt somewhere that is flowing like the internet, right? You just pull it out, and all of a sudden you do this. Now, what would happen? What happens? You meet somebody and you say, well, man, I just feel like I know this person in another life. And he go, yeah, you do. We used to be together. We used to be married. Now I want you to marry me now in this one. What do? Oh, no, I'm married in my current life. Well, no, we were married in the past life. We was really happy. Really? Oh, how do you deal with that one? How do you go to bed at night and say, well, I think I met my husband from the last life, but I'm with my husband from this life. What do you do? What do you do? That's all I'm asking. How do we interpret that when it comes down to that? Well, we can talk about it. We can definitely talk about it, and you can learn from it. And once again, I will put that on the screen. So the other part is altering the consciousness through drugs. You've heard people say, let's go take some mushrooms. Let's go take a couple of these different things. And people have done this. They figure out a way. This is what they want to do. You know, they take what you call psychedelics or whatever, substances that can change the state of mind. Why do it? Why would you have to do it? Why would you have to say, I want to go take some mushrooms in order to even get into the astros? Why can't we just do it with our own mind? How come we got to be drugged up? Or is it drugged up? I don't know. I mean, maybe some of you can figure that part out. It's like that. Gregory said mushrooms are legal in San Francisco. All right, so you can go down and get some shrooms and go beam me up to Scotty. You get what I'm saying? He go and get the little whatever and saying, I'm out of here. I'm going to go to another plane. Now, when we know that happens, we can watch somebody who done went into mushrooms or whatever. They're over there. They can't even function. They're sitting there spaced out. They can't go get in the car and drive off or go in there, fry some eggs or something. So that means this body is useless when you in that plane. The body has no purpose. It is not functioning. When they're up there and they spaced out, they're sitting over there. And that's why when we see people with this zombie thing, or if they drugged out, the body is like, what the hell? And they're somewhere else. And we look at it and say, oh man, they're whacked out. But maybe they're in a better place and they're like, man, shoot, I don't need this body. And maybe they figure that out. And this is where we have some tragic things happening out here. I don't know. I'm not trying to sell that, ladies and gentlemen. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just having some altered conversations. Now, in the book, it talks about heaven. It talks about Jesus indicating the heart chakra because the heart serves as the equilibrium point for the 7 chakras. Now, attaining what they call Christ consciousness requires a harmonization of all the chakras and living from the heart. And heaven, even though it's the word, is really the definition of the word even. It's here in this book, though. It's right here in the book. And we supposed to, at this point, the term heaven inherently contains the word even, signifying balance. Heaven, therefore, represents an external state of equilibrium, striving for balance and involving harmonization of both physical, material aspect of being, and state of balance, experiences oneness, and does not lean toward the extreme. So now is heaven in you? Since there's a God up here, right? Is heaven in you? That's the question. Is it? They're talking about it. Now, I'm saying the study of consciousness is also a multidisciplinary endeavor. It takes more than the field to crack the code. You got to talk about neuroscience, philosophy, psychology, and even physics are all contributing to consciousness. This thing is big. It's huge. It is really, really huge. It's really huge, people. Very huge. And despite of all that, and they're talking about the nature of consciousness still remains a mystery. We're still trying to figure it out. There's still scientists are now just coming along. And so it's one of those things. I just wanted to make sure we understand that. Now, before we go into the second page here real quick, and we're going to breeze through this, I want you to know, once again, I've been up for the podcast awards on Forbidden Knowledge TV, in the podcast category. So I want to make sure you vote. If you haven't, please vote. If you're watching this right now, make sure you vote. There's in the description of the video, there's a link that you can go to take you over to and vote for Roderick Martin in the podcast category. You'll see Roderick Martin. It'll say why the big secret there, but go ahead and vote and make sure you do. Once again, if you go to the website, you can get the 400 ebooks. Yeah, for $40, 400 ebooks. It's 10 cents. And you can possibly get part of our book club as well. So check it out. Check it out. And we can go there and pretty much. So now as we enter into the second half in our way out of the show, there are some negative consequences when it gets down to, once again, I'm just putting this up so that you can kind of see. We're getting ready to get into some fluff, good stuff. We're getting ready to get into some good stuff over here. Okay. Some good stuff. All right. So the other part of this is the fact that people, that's some negative sides when it comes down to our consciousness and people trying to manipulate, or they can do things to you in the current arena, but focus it on your consciousness. And there could be some nefarious purposes. And I want to talk about a few of those before we leave tonight. One being manipulation, deception. Manipulators, you can find them anywhere. They distort the reality. They causes the victims to doubt their own perceptions, insanity. And it can be done in a relationship. So let me say it like this. I remember there was a time that I was in a relationship with a bad person, and they used to say some negative stuff. And some days it start altering your perception of yourself. And for some reason, you believe that person at that time, and I'm not in there anymore, right? I'm not way beyond. But there's other people who can believe what someone else can say. Somebody can say you're crazy. Somebody can say, make you feel like you're stupid or whatever. And if you're still in those presence of those things, it's still back here consciously. I don't give a damn if you think they can't do that to me no more and they're still walking in your circle. You better be careful. And this is why you got to cut some of that stuff, right? And we all know it. We've been part of, you all been part of controlling all these type of people you want to call it. But gaslighting is one of the main things. Gaslighting would exploit your trust in your own consciousness and memory. It will tear you up. Be careful with it. Get this thing. You learn how to fight that stuff off. Propaganda, brainwashing. It's every day in the media. They're attacking our minds, which is our consciousness. And through the mind and through attacking it, your eyes are useless when your mind is blind. If your mind is not, if your mind is just messed up, I don't care what you're looking at, you're not going to function. You're not going to function. Okay? I'm serious about this. You're not going to. Some of you walk around that you think everything is intact. You think that mind is where it needs to be until you run up to somebody who's going to blow it out. Somebody who can manipulate it, somebody who can do whatever. And then there's some of you who have people around you that may be trying to help you, and you are fighting them like they are dogs. You never know. But it's all mental warfare. And they know it. The CIA practice it. Governments practice it. People practice it. Con artists practice it. Relationship people practice it. Good people. It's there. When you think about systematic manipulation of our belief and emotions through misinformation and psychological techniques, it is crazy. It's crazy when you walk into the grocery store and pay attention when you take your children and take them down a cereal aisle. And when they're walking down that aisle and all you see them just looking up at the boxes and staring. And when you look at the eyes of the cereal, they all are big looking down because they know the kids are looking up, and it's like calling them, pick me, pick me. They do this on purpose. They do it on purpose because they want to manipulate our children. And they do it. But what about adults? It happens every day in news media and everything else, fake news, whatever. We don't even want to get into cults, coercive control, groups of isolation, doctrination, emotional manipulation, and how they control their members. How many times have we seen the cults and in situations where people believe some crazy stuff? But they start by altering their minds through a conscious effort. And they go deep psyops when they do this. They don't waste no time. No time. Protect yourself. Get you the information. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you right now it's that time. But you can look at me like I'm crazy. You really can. I am crazy. Yeah. Only two if you think so. But what about psychological warfare? Using psychological, physiological pain to extract information. Remember when they try to break somebody's mind in spyware, they break their mind through pain and everything. They have to get your mind to break. We've seen it in every movie. Morpheus, they breaking his mind and electromagnetic, and they're trying to pull, he's holding his consciousness. And then at the same time, Neo can feel Morpheus. Oh, they trying to break into Morpheus. Remember, he saw it in the consciousness. He felt it. We got to go up there and save him. It wasn't in the physical. He didn't see that man through his eyes. He felt somehow they were sending messages, and they was able to do that. And I'm telling y'all, there's some deep stuff. There's some deep stuff. We don't even talk about fear mongering and terrorism, how they create a climate of fear and uncertainty to achieve their goals. Is there a long-term consequences to that? Yeah. It's long-term consequences to manipulation, deception, propaganda, brainwashing, cults. It takes people years to get their mind back that been in a cult. And you try to bring your son or daughter home and reintroduce them into life. And you can't figure out why they're doing what they're doing, or you walk in a corner, hanging up in a closet, upside down like a bat. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it was, we can't figure that part out, or we try to. And we're talking about how they can exploit our vulnerabilities. Scams and fraud. They deceive people into giving up things and personal information. And how they're able to do this. And they can do this through, remember when we talked about in the beginning of this book, when he talked about the consciousness and ego and all of that stuff, and how you got to learn and all that takes over and make you vulnerable. Well, they exploit those through empathy and greed. That's the ego. And they know how to do this. Predatory practices and advertising. We know guerrilla marketing. You hear all those things. You hear things like using the word by now, you should understand this is it. Now, here's what I'm going to do. By now, you should understand that this book is something you need. But did you hear what I was doing? Yeah, I'm telling you by now, and you thinking I'm saying by now after you heard what I said, but I'm sending a message for you to buy now. They do it all the time right in our faces. You get what I'm saying? It's crazy, but it happens. It really happens. It really does. But the point I'm saying is, if they do this in weaponizing technology, you got deepfakes information right now, AI, they're able to alter the content. Now, how is AI actually altering consciousness through people? How many people right now, come on, work with me, who you see on their Facebook page right now, and how many of you have done this, taking an AI and it superimposed the way you look and see yourself, and it creates an alter ego of some kind picture, and you look at it and say, that's me. It tells you, well, this is you. Oh, she's got all muscles. Oh, she a strong sister and all that. No, this you in the mirror, but you don't look like that. But it gives you that. It manipulates and people are now putting these pictures up of this woman that they want that has a hip. She has a waistline like this, but hips like that. What? Are you serious? You know, or the man, he's got biceps like this and he's tall and he's whatever, but his brain is empty. Ain't no brain in the picture. You get what I'm saying? But we want all of these things in technology to begin to set in our minds what a reality of something should be. And even that goes to ourselves. We got to be careful with that. I'm just not making this up. I know we're having a conversation tonight, and I know some of y'all may not hit the like button. I know some of y'all may not share the video. Some of y'all may not even come back. Some of you may not even put some good affirmation in the chat. Some of you may not even support the show. I haven't asked for a dime tonight, but I might. Subliminally, right? But we're talking about deepfakes and information. It's one of those things. And most importantly, we're talking about what they do now is controlling the freaking narrative. Ladies and gentlemen, it is happening every single day. As I talk about, we sit here now. My job is to get each and every one of you something that you can read, believe, see, to open up the possibilities so that you understand that authority, listen to me, authority is not the truth. Truth is authority. This is why we start going to things like I'm showing you and things that you should get. Truth is the authority. Authority is not the truth. We're so now inclined that we will take some type of authority, figure, people, or thing, and we will make it the truth. I'm not saying don't let it guide you somewhere. Great authority can take you to the right place. Some good leaders can take you to the right place, but that doesn't mean self-discovery and other stuff shouldn't be happening in your world. And once again, authority is right today. Most people see it as the truth. This is why you see politicians, they're doing what they're doing. They're able to do it. But the minute the truth becomes authority, oh, they shit and run. Everybody get the hell up out of there. They get out. So I leave you with that conversation tonight. I am going to close the book of secrets tonight. The sacred secrets is what it's called. And I'm going to put this up. I hope that you were able to get some information out. We were just here shortly to do what we were doing. And for those of you, once again, make sure you vote. And if you're not gotten your tickets, if you have a business and you want to set up a table and sell your products, market your book or market your shirts or whatever, and you want to do it in Miami at the Consciousness Award, there's 2 days that you can do. 2 days. There's Saturday and then there's Sunday. 2 different price tags. You can do both of one. If you're interested and you want to get the information, you can reach out to me. You can do that through the email, and that's contact@whythebigsecret.com. Contact@whythebigsecret.com. Put your name, put in the subject matter you want to get a booth for. And now, please, if you don't live in Miami and you don't be putting all your books and stuff on a plane and shipping to UPS, don't call. That's going to take you to do that. If you wanted to sit at a table and put a blanket and meet some people, that's fine too. Whatever you want to do is up to you. But it's a moment for you to meet people within this community, especially if you got something that you want to offer people within the community. And I think that's one of the coolest things that we will do. So it's been a plum pleasing pleasure as well as a privilege. I'm Roderick Martin, and you have just visited Roderick Martin's High Strangeness. If you make sure you want to get more videos like this, subscribe to the channel and make sure you do that as well. If you like some of the things and content, send me a note, send me a chat, make a comment. I'm monitoring and watching all of those things. And I will say again, I appreciate your time, because you could have been any other place tonight, but you chose to be right here, right now. And with that being said, hopefully I served you tonight, and we will be back Wednesday. And then, of course, we do our Fridays from there, and we will go live as usual. All right. So to my haters, if you are here once again every week hating on me, I just want you to know I can still love you even if you hate on me. I just don't want to meet you, but I can still love you, and I do. I really do. But I do love all of those who have supported me over the years and time and things, and continue to support me as I do my transitions of time and evolution and growing and mistakes and things that I do as a person. But in the meantime, you give me your precious gift, and that is your time in that meantime. All right. Hug your loved ones. That's what I want you to do. Hug your loved ones.
Why did Ruby shoot Oswald? Was there a conspiracy?
In a world shrouded in darkness and obscured by deception from the big secret keepers, a burning question ignites in the hearts and minds of truth seekers. Why? Let's dive into the abyss of the unknown. Challenge the limits of our understanding.
This bizarre sequence of double killings raised great questions. Who actually fired the shots that killed Kennedy?
Pierce the veil of secrecy.
Cattle found dead and the manner of their deaths are a real mystery.
Anyone who is concerned about lead in the drinking water in Flint.
And venture into the realm of conspiracies and extraterrestrial evidence.